Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're well. Looking forward to today. It's Mad Dog Day, and we're going to be checking out the new MD-88, which is part of the expansion pack released by Leonardo Software House for the MD-82 for Microsoft Flight Simulator. That particular aircraft been out for about a year, and also still to this day the Sim's most expensive aircraft add-on, coming in at 90 quid. They've now, a couple of days ago, released the MD-83 and MD-88 expansion pack, which is what we've purchased and downloaded for today. So we're going to be flying the MD-88 Mad Dog and exploring what that has to offer and helping you guys decide, if you've not purchased it, whether or not it's something you might like. It's 30 quid for the expansion, or 30 euros on SimMarket. It is linked in the description today as well, if you do want to get your hands on it. But of course as well, it does require the MD-82, so if you don't have the original package for the main Mad Dog, then buying the expansion won't actually do anything or install anything, sadly. So it becomes quite expensive to get the three variants. We're at Seattle KSEA, Seattle Tacoma, and we've got the MSFS scenery installed. Lots of members in the live chat. It's great to have you here. It's very early in the morning, actually, on the west coast of the US. So we've got darkness for another few hours. We'll get a nice sunrise after departure, probably about halfway through, or a third of the way in, maybe. Mike, hello to you. Matthew, David as well. MPS Gaming, Badger, Rab, Mikhail, Birdman, Zato. Welcome, folks. Dan, Lazaros, Kalispera. Tim as well. Hello. Good afternoon. Birdman. Hazza, Ian, good day. Jack, welcome. Jay, loads of channel members in the live chat today. It's great to see you guys all tuning in. Zato as well. Cornelius, welcome. And everybody else, depending on where you're tuning in around the world. If you've got questions through today, or there are features that you might want to see for the Mad Dog, do let us know. I'll do my best to answer them. But here she is at stand Bravo 5 here at SeaTac. We've got the passengers already loaded, so we're using GSX today to fire up all of our passengers and our cargo, and we're logging the flight on New Sky as well, which is the new virtual airline client that we are transitioning Osprey Airways to. But here we are, looking quite nice actually. This is a Delta livery which comes on flightsim.to. It's one of the only ones currently available actually, but the person that's created it had quite a bit of knowledge of the aircraft prior to it being retired, took loads of reference images, tried to create a little bit of a custom cabin as well for us, and then did a couple of quality of life changes as well. So over here somewhere, where is it? Added in a few plaques like configuration of the aircraft. Yeah, there are a couple of little Easter eggs that he's popped around, although I've still yet to find a lot of them. To try and replicate the exact aircraft specific down to the decal. Jack, we're still using LRM, but we're moving over to New Sky. So there are two modes there, effectively real mode, and then in addition to real mode, we have a bit of a free flight mode, which is what we're using today to track the flight. But here's the flight deck in darkness. One of the things the Leonardo Mad Dog does offer, as I'm sure you guys will agree, is a spectacular set of emissives in the flight deck. It's very, very cool indeed. Ronnie says, how can you use the weather radar? I can't get it to show anything on the screen. So, it's a good question. This little dial here, you'll notice that on the left hand side on the nav display, just hide this, oh my goodness, frames are a bit stuttery in this, I have noticed. It says weather off. You need to twiddle that dial around quite a bit. It's a couple of turns to actually turn the system on for weather mode. And then across here you have the little weather panel. You might want to turn it on so there's power to the system for the weather. And then you might need to tune the tilt up or down to basically where you want to paint the radar. And then I'll select weather plus turbulence. The left panel up on the very top here, that's for the left nav display, which is the one that we have as the captain. The bottom switches operate the one for the first officer. And again, so the left tilt here, this one is for the captain, and this one is for the first officer. Once you go new sky, you never go back, Mike says. Fritz, hello to you. Doc as well. Carlita, good morning. Adam says, question right away. Which aircrafts would you recommend buying for flying with Osprey Airways? That's a good question. We're going to begin the real-world route network, if you like, from Manchester, Birmingham, Heathrow, and I think Gatwick. But we have airports, so we have routes to various airports already. You can explore it inside New Sky. We're not going to bring them all across from FS Hub, where we had 600 routes, and that is because it becomes unsustainable on the kind of real-world simulated economy model that New Sky offers Osprey Airways. Yes, AR simulations, but you can then, when you're filing the flight plan on VATSIM, you can change the call sign across to, like we have today, Delta 1470. Right, where are we? That's all good, that's all set. Standby, compass, we'll pop it on dim and dim for those. Leave those off. We'll pop the logo light on as well, actually, because we've not seen that from the outside. Look at that, there we go. Very nice. Ogmania, good morning. I'm still getting used to the aeroplane quite significantly, so there are lots of things that I'm still learning, getting wrong, trying to get right as well on the aircraft. Let's pop the pumps on. Pressurization system is prepped and set.
Alaska 459, stand November 8 is pushing back, facing north.
And we got those engine heats and things on as well. Signs are on. Emergency lights need to be armed. And we also want the start pump on for the APU to start, which is there. And we should see voltage appear once that goes ready and green once it starts up. So there's the APU firing up here. You don't really get many sounds up the front, same with the MD-82, but it is so long, the aeroplane, the engines are so far back from the flight deck, you don't really hear very much, to be fair. Let's listen to the APU start noise. Yeah, that's one thing Zato's pointed out. If you're flying on New Sky, you cannot touch the fuel tabs or anything that changes the weight and balance after chocks off. Once you're off block and you're pushing, you can't change anything, because otherwise it flags on New Sky as a cheated flight plan. So that's good. APU RPM's green and APU power is available, so we'll switch that across from the external power. We'll get rid of the GSX external power as well. Additional services, dismiss GPU. So again, like, we've come back in and there's nothing really here. Boozer brandy, yeah, sounds are a bit poor, and as well as textures, to be fair. Certainly in the day you see a lot of pixelation and very poor textures on the add-on, which for two of them, 130 odd quid, is not acceptable.
Holding point for runway 16
that on.
left via Bravo Charlie. Seattle traffic.
Deny the flight deck door now, so that's closed the flight deck door. And we want to have a little look at performance and things. We've got a couple of minutes to very quickly go through our pushback. Quarter past is when we need to push and start. Where are we? Avograph. There we go. That's what we want. So we're here. Stand Bravo 5. We're going to push start facing north on the tower ramp. And then we're going to taxi out of the ramp, up Bravo, all the way to... we're going to do hold point Delta runway 16 left, because I want to use the whole runway today. 3,627 meters long, to be fair. Yeah, that's a bad thing, is Bruce has said there as well. In flight, as you move back to where the engines are at the back, the sounds don't change, which is a bit of a shame. And as Tim has said, though, further up in the chat, you can buy a sound pack which improves that, but you shouldn't have to pay the amount of money you spend on these add-ons. You shouldn't have to pay for the upgrade to sound. I just think that's unacceptable, and we should all just say no to that. So departing southbound, 164 degrees heading away from the Seattle VOR and SeaTac Airport. 161 degrees to Nevjo, climbing up along the way. And then we're going to intercept the outbound radial from the Seattle VOR of 146 as we then fly outbound towards Summer. It splits off then to Baker City or Lakeview VORs, but we're not actually going to either of those. We're going to a different VOR entirely. So at Summer, we have got, from the Summer 2, we didn't actually select the transition. We're going straight from Summer to LTJ instead, a different VOR entirely. We need to put in our takeoff speeds to continue our pre-flight final prep. So V1 rotate and V2. So we've got here with our weights, you can see SeaTac, dry conditions and our winds, headwind of 6 knots, 3 knot crosswind for departure, 2 degrees outside air temperature, and we've gone for flaps 18, so that gives us a cell of 40 degrees Celsius, V1 of 128, V rotate at 131, and then V2 140 knots, so V2 plus 10 therefore is 150. Takeoff weight is 61,100 kilograms. And to prep the aircraft, we pop that to flight mode. I might put that on night mode as well, actually. That's a bit better. Actually helps with the contrast, the way the contrast works in the sim, doesn't it? And we need to prep the tug, because we've got 4 minutes to push back. Don't want any of that.
Please stand by for engine start until push completed and brakes set.
Adam, yeah, you can fly whatever you want. So there's 2 modes, as we said at the start. There's a real mode, which is the scheduled section, where you select a real-world flight. If the aircraft gets flown, and you're suggesting there to Ibiza from Heathrow, someone then needs to fly it back to Heathrow to continue the schedules for it. Otherwise, we get problems. So there's a lot of realism involved. Cell 40, let's set that. But the other mode that we offer with Osprey on New Sky as we transition across is a free flight mode, and that's what we're using today. We don't have a route available for this particular flight that we're doing today, so we're using free flight, which means we can still operate any other route network on any flight and try and capture some of the demand elsewhere, like here at our KC. So yeah, 3024 is still the altimeter. Unfortunately not Jack. If you crash, the airline basically gets wiped out. SeaTac traffic, Delta 1470, MD-88 on Bravo 5. We're going to push start facing south. That's collision lights on.
It's taxiing runway 16 left via Bravo.
Yeah, it's still free, Mark Peace.
Osprey 57853, pushing back, facing west.
Seattle traffic, Alaska 459, taxiing, holding point, runway 16 left via Green Line and Alpha.
Oh, custom profile, tail right or tail left?
Holding point
I don't actually know which one that refers to. Alright, we'll find out. We'll go tail right.
Release parking brakes.
We're making it up already. Oh, you know what? Need APU air on. That's on. Air conditioning shut off.
Release parking brakes.
Flight recorder's off. That's all set. They're all set. That's all good. Cross bleeds.
Osprey 804 Foxtrot pushing back from stand 01.
Yeah, gotta flick those bad boys up, and the transfer box is on as well down here.
Seattle traffic.
That's all set. The art is off as well. Lights and signs. Bleeds off. Before we push back, I want to make sure I've got it all set up correctly, basically.
Release parking brakes.
Yeah, Boozer Brandy. So I think that's the biggest issue that a lot of people have got, the fact that it's 30 euros for very little change. And actually so far, apart from the engines being a bit more powerful, I can't see any difference.
Seattle traffic.
So it becomes
Osprey
expensive.
78 for heavy, holding short to
13:15
left.
on time departure.
Completed and brakes set.
Alaska Airlines, continue.
So I've selected one of them. I have no idea if we're going to actually face the right way. Engine system A. Flick the guards for the right aircraft. Engine.
Pushback starts for
Pumps on.
Phoenix. Osprey
Pumps are on.
27
That's all good. And then pressing and holding. Here we go. N2's rising. I feel like I'm slowly learning the aircraft. Still holding. Hydraulics are pressurising as well. The flaps are now retracted back to 0. N2 for about 20. Where's the fuel control lever?
Delta 1771 now lining up runway 16 left.
My god. Where's the floodlights? Okay, good. That was the engine start. We can't hear anything, look. We go outside though, and we're getting engine start. And actually, we're facing the right way. Happy days. I wasn't sure if it was going to push us into the cul-de-sac towards the terminal. That was the kind of concern I had. But yeah, we're pushing. I'm facing north actually. External power access door is open for a little while because we've got the headset guys plugged in.
And Seattle traffic, Osprey 7853, taxiing to the active via Bravo.
And 2.
And holding short at holding point Charlie.
Engines start. You can disconnect.
Delta 1771 now departing runway 16 left.
Flick that up. So dial a flap, we've gone for 18. Centre of gravity was takeoff weight centre of gravity 14.2, which is what that's set. So therefore we need to then flick that to there. It gives us a moved trim setting there. GSX is fantastic, Clipper, but you do need to have custom
Unlocking gear.
profiles for it. Oh, we haven't added in our V speeds. 128, 131, 140.
Seattle
131.
traffic, Osprey 2472 is pushing back from stand Delta 4, and we'll be facing to the
So that looks like it's in line. That's good.
northeast. Delta traffic, Seattle traffic.
Pop that on. There goes, so engines 1 and 2 are good. There goes the first departure. Delta, awesome.
Tow truck disconnected.
South traffic, Osprey 270, Mike, delay pushback,
Left is clear. Right is clear.
behind to taxi.
That'd be me, possibly. Whoops.
And Seattle traffic, Osprey, Alaska 459 is lining up.
So, Toga, that's all good. That's all set. We need to now pre-arm. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? My goodness. RTO, arm. Pneumatic crossfeed valve. I think we close these now, right? And then down here. Close the guards. APU off. Master off. Bleeds auto. Pito's on. Anti-collision lights, POS lights. We want Nose lights.
Seattle traffic, Alaska 459, take off runway 16 left. Take off to the south on the Summer 2, and we will climb according
Going
to
for
the
dialer flap.
sit.
And all the brake arms. Master caution, what's it for? Arting up, clear that. It's because we're doing a flex takeoff.
Juliet Mark, Seattle traffic will be pushing back off Bravo 7 behind the taxi Delta through 21.
So I was very slow. SeaTac traffic Delta 1470, taxi to hold point Delta runway 16 left via the tower ramp and Bravo. 150, that's all good, that's all set. And this Delta safety demonstration.
At this time, in just a few moments, we'll be showing you the safety video. Once the video has concluded, we'll be in the house to answer any questions you have before we're seated for taxi out. Again, thank you for choosing Delta today. My name is Susan. I'm your purser for today's flight.
Face north, pushback to
We do welcome you aboard.
Whiskey. Shadow traffic, Osprey 74 heavy,
We think our
lining up
world's
runway
smaller when we
16
get out
left.
in it.
Can't see a chuffing thing.
That's why the best men and women in the
And
business
Seattle traffic, final message, Alaska 459 airborne, passing 2,000 feet. Climbing
make this
flight level
world such an
350.
amazing place. Bringing the world closer together, one flight at a time.
Follow the greens. So again, now we've got the engines spooled up a little bit, but there's no sound at the front.
Differences.
One of cultures and ideas that span our world and link us each to another.
If you're tuning in for the first time, it's great to have you on board with us. Hope you enjoyed today's live stream.
Traffic Southwest 963.
Make sure you hit like and subscribe as well if you haven't done so already. Keep your eye out on the 2nd of April. We're going to be throwing a giveaway in as we've now surpassed 25,000 subscribers on the channel.
And crew. So, before we depart,
Please pay attention to this important safety message. Be sure that all carry-on items are securely stowed in an overhead bin, and place smaller items, including handbags, under the seated
Flaps,
button. If
they
you
are
lose
set to
your
15.
electronic device in your
Interesting.
seat, please do not adjust your seat.
Selected dialer
and ask
flap
a crew
18.
member for assistance. Please ensure all aisles, exits, and bulkhead areas are clear.
That's
as
better.
we leave the gate, make sure your seatbelt is fastened. To fasten, insert the metal tip into the buckle and adjust the strap so it's low and tight across your lap. To release the belt, just lift the top of the buckle. If you're seated in the business class cabin, secure your shoulder harness by attaching the metal tip to the fitting on the belt. To release, remove the metal tip.
Can't really see very much, can we? Hello, Sasha.
16 left via Bravo and taxi.
I think that's the biggest thing with this aircraft is the sheer price of it. It does shut a lot of people away from what is a great aircraft.
To runway 16 left via the center green. Bravo to holding
But it is an incredibly complex simulation. It's actually a remarkably complex simulation, which is quite cool.
8 doors, 4 on each side. Each door
And it's proper old school.
as a ramp.
Shadow traffic, Osprey 74 heavy, waiting for 3-minute separation.
If there's a loss of power,
Shadow traffic.
and visibility is reduced, lights will illuminate the aisles to guide you to an exit.
Please note that exit signs on this airplane identify each exit with a green symbol. Arrows indicate the direction to the exit. Locate the exit nearest you using these green symbols.
We're going to be
Keeping
using a
in mind
lot
the
of
nearest
fuel
exit
today.
might be behind you. In the event of an evacuation, leave all carry-on items behind. It's unlikely, but if cabin pressure changes, the panels above your seat will open, revealing oxygen masks. If this happens, reach up and pull the mask or red streamer
Shadow
towards you until the tube is fully extended.
which
Place the mask
aircraft
over your
is
nose
on,
and mouth. Slip the elastic
holding for
strap over your
Delta?
head and adjust the mask if necessary. Breathe normally and note that oxygen is flowing, so don't worry if the bag doesn't inflate. Be sure to adjust your own mask before helping others.
A water evacuation is also
Doc says the price is especially painful when it's a plane that only really flew in large numbers with a small number of airlines, all of which have already retired it, absolutely. It's one of those historic ops aircraft, isn't it?
Life vests are located either in a compartment adjacent to your seat or under your armrest. To use, remove the vest from its container by pulling on the tab and then opening the pouch. Slip the vest over your head. Wrap the strap
Yeah,
around
as
your
Arthur's
waist
saying, it's one of
and
the
attach it to
biggest
the buckle in front,
misconceptions
and
with the
adjust securely
aircraft,
around your
really.
waist. As you leave the plane,
Hearing
inflate
engine
the vest by
sounds
pulling
at
down
the
on the
front.
red tab at the bottom of
Certain
the vest,
aeroplanes,
or
you just wouldn't
manually
hear them.
inflate it by
You would hear
blowing
the
into the
grumble
T-best
in
shoulder
the
level.
takeoff roll, of course, but beyond that, you wouldn't.
If necessary, we'll distribute additional life vests.
Lots of Osprey flying today.
Now, before we take off, be sure your seat is upright and your tray table is put away. If you're seated in the business class cabin, ensure your suite door is open. Please note there is a placard on the door, visible when open, explaining how to use the suite door in case of an emergency. If you're seated in the main cabin, ensure your aisle armrests are lowered, and in the Delta Premium Select cabin, ensure your aisle armrests are raised.
Got to arm that, didn't I? So, altitude arm.
Check, please let us know if you have any questions. And finally, now would be a good time for everyone to review the safety information card, which is in your seat pocket.
As we span this amazing world of ours,
Nav mode arm.
we celebrate all the connections.
Seattle traffic.
Thank you for choosing Delta.
Taxi via Bravo to runway 16 left, holding third point.
Settle in.
Charlie.
Have a wonderful flight.
Osprey 495.
Flying with Delta.
There's a lot of aeroplanes queuing here.
Everett traffic, Boeing 733 is cleared of 16 right taxi, save November Alpha.
Seattle traffic, Osprey 598, are you ready to taxi?
Osprey 598.
Jack, fair enough, yes.
Few seconds, about 1 minute.
So, slats are shown, takeoff flap 18 with dialer flat, trim is set, auto brake is, well, speed brake is armed, nav and heading are armed.
Pushback went up the wrong way, so I turn right directly and
When we set toga in a moment, we're going to go to, we're going to need to set the auto thrust as well.
Runway 16 left.
Yeah, Osprey 27 Juliet Mike will hold while the Osprey 598 taxis Seattle traffic.
Seattle traffic, Osprey 784 heavy taking off runway 16 left via the Sumo departure. Seattle traffic.
Crikey, that's a 787.
Yeah, get that gas guzzler out of here.
I'm going.
Osprey 1701, are you ready to taxi or are you having difficulties?
What we got here is a couple of custom views.
Seattle traffic, Southwest 963, joining left base, first runway 16 Seattle.
See that traffic, Delta 1470 at Delta lining up, runway 16 left and waiting.
Traffic, Osprey 458 is lining up runway 16.
What's lights on both?
Echo.
Seattle traffic, Osprey 7853 lining up behind the Delta MD-80.
Heck yeah. We've got one actually that's just lined up ahead of us as well, so...
Seattle traffic, Osprey 598, turn right, taxi to runway 16 left, via Bravo, Charlie.
Once he departs, we'll need a couple of seconds. That's the landing lights, by the way, folks, on the wing that you guys can see here. Really cool.
And Seattle traffic, Osprey 27 Juliet Mike, follow company traffic via Bravo, Charlie to holding point 16 left, Seattle traffic.
Let's get that nose wheel centered. Okay, so now we wait. We'll get those engines on idle. TCAS TARA, where is it down here? There it is. Let's pop that on. Auto brake is set to take off and armed. RTO and armed. Flex is set correctly with 40 cell temp, nav mode, arm mode. Out mode is armed as well.
Seattle traffic, Osprey 784.
That's set. Lights and signs. Art's off. This is what we've got. I mean, you can't really see very much, can we? Because it's so dark. But the it shows you guys how good the emissives are on the aircraft at the very least. Big old Osprey whopper behind taxiing. My goodness. Do we know if that aircraft has departed yet? That's that lined up ahead of us. We'll have to wait for an airborne call. My goodness, there's loads flying along today. This is fantastic.
Seattle traffic, Southwest 963 established on 16 center and 30 miles final Seattle.
My God.
Seattle traffic, Osprey 7 Papa Romeo is pushing back at Alpha 5. We are facing...
That's a point actually, hold on. Sky Spring is shown on the runway there.
Or runway 16 left, Seattle traffic.
Maybe not on VATSIM.
Seattle traffic, Osprey 495, holding short 16 left, number 3.
So, Toga. Oh my God. Mild panic there. Right, I don't know what that other aeroplane is doing or if it's gone yet, so it's probably about 2 minutes. We'll say it is. Osprey 784, there we go. Right, yeah, it's well out of the way. SeaTac traffic, Delta 1470 is taking off runway 16 left, summer 2.
Seattle traffic, Osprey 7853, waiting, we'll be waiting for spacing. Estimated time around 1 minute 30.
Okay. Thrust set. Auto throttles armed. Accelerating. Through 120 knots. V1. Rotate. V2. Positive rate, gear up. My goodness, the power of the engines is insane. So this should now automatically revert autopilot on alt mode.
Seattle traffic,
Nav.
Osprey 495.
Nav track.
16 left.
VNav. And we're looking at accelerating away and getting our flaps sorted out as well. So let's start to bring them up. Super quiet, isn't it? You don't hear very much. SeaTac traffic, Delta 1470 is airborne, 2,300 feet climbing. Flaps up speeds.
Seattle traffic, Southwest 963.
3,200, that's all looking fine. Over to the legs page. Monitoring that carefully as well as we depart. And what have we got around us? A load of fog actually, my goodness, look at that. The outside. Whole load of clouds, and as we climb, the sun will actually rise with us even quicker, which is nice to note and have. There we are, look at all those lights. Ah, yes. Here we go.
Osprey 7853, departing runway 16 left via the departure.
Hey, you know what? So far,
departure.
really impressed. What have we got here? Custom views. A couple of those. I don't want to catch the wing light.
Seattle traffic.
That's cool.
116 left. You are not visible from me. Apologize.
It's alright, no problem.
Gloria saying, do you think GSX will come to Xbox because of WASM? That's a really good question. I'm not sure the answer to it though. Flaps are up. I've got to remember slats. They're up now. Yes. And then we're going to continue to accelerate away. And there's the sunrise. In fact, we've got a little bit of ice on the windows, look, as well.
Seattle traffic Osprey 495, waiting for separation.
Anti-ice and all that are on. Pop a little bit of that on for a moment, just see if it helps. Even though that's window, but it may well be that if we can see icing here, we've got icing elsewhere. Mark's saying, is it worth the upgrade to the 88 then? So realistically, I can't really notice much difference. Sounds and everything else are the same. The same as what we already have in the MD-83 and the MD-82, sorry. But the more powerful engines, certainly really good to know and have. And I think the weights are different too, so it offers a slightly different fuel economy, fuel endurance. But as Doc is saying, fundamentally this is, my God, look at the size of that. Fundamentally this is just an engine power upgrade, because the glass cockpits that the MD-88 had, contrary to the MD-82, are the same as that offered in the Leonardo MD-82 as well, because of the fact that they've got the glass cockpit retrofit already. I think we're going through, oh my goodness.
Good luck, guys.
There's my first penalty. Climbing through 10,000, I didn't turn the lights off for a couple of seconds, so that would be a time penalty there for us. We're at climb speed now though. Because of that as well, we need to change the mode to climb. Yep, EKG Blueface, good spot, thank you. Great minds, think alike. And we want to also bring the heading bug around to our track line. Climbing really quickly, look at that. 4,000 feet per minute, unrestricted climb. Through 18,000 we go through transition level. So we need to make sure we go back to 1013 or 29902, and we can do it about now. Like so. Same with the standby instruments. So what New Sky makes us do is have to fly that little bit more accurately. And if you don't fly that accurately, you get penalised, effectively, which is quite cool. It also doesn't want butter either, so one of those flight sim kind of things that we all chase, it doesn't want butter in New Sky, because that's not how the real airliners would operate in real life. So instead, it's looking for a G score, a G rating. And if you land with a G in normal weather of 1.06 to 1.4 G, then you get top marks, basically. There's that sunrise. Because we're climbing, the sun is actually visible quicker for us than otherwise would be on the ground. Because of that, we are kind of speeding up the sun rising without actually having to change the time. The one thing we'll need to do in the cruise is having a little look at the descent forecast as well. We'll need to fiddle around with that in a little while. But, oh yes, also, transfer box off. Look at that for a view. It's a really cool cockpit, isn't it? The flight deck is insane. It's a very cool aeroplane. You know, as you guys know, with the MD-82, it's one I resisted for a little while because of those texture and sound issues. But my goodness, look at that. The windows here are nice as well. I don't really want them on my 737, so I leave it sort of clipped off. But Clipper's asking, can I still use time compression when in cruise in New Sky? No. If you use anything like time compression, sim rate changes, if you amend fuel or weight or balance in flights artificially, then it basically triggers the cheating module. So it will wipe your entire flight for you, basically, to say that you. I think it literally marks it as cheated flight. So the idea of New Sky is that it is all supposed to be operating in realistic conditions, even in free flight mode. Yeah. So, for example, you're flying for Osprey Airways, or like today, we're logging a flight in free flight mode. But we still have to bear in mind the demand at each airport, the capacity of the aircraft, the fuel burn and everything like that. So this is a big dirty Mad Dog. So we're going to burn a lot more fuel than the folks flying the same route in the A320. So as a result of that, our aircraft today is not likely to make as much of a profit than the guys flying, say, the PMDG 737-900. What we got here? Some rather spectacular views, but I'm trying to get around the. It's not going to work, is it? Here we are. I should probably turn the logo light off as well, but I do like having that on. Volanta, has it really? No, it's still flying. It might just be slow to actually update. I know sometimes it can take a couple of minutes to update. I'll put some of them screenshots into Volanta though now. It seems we're tackling that subject. Yeah, look at the even the emissives there of the cabin, the flight deck, shining through the actual windows. That's really cool. Oh, Zato, look. Massive frames lost there with the new smoke effects like you mentioned as well. I've just literally had it there as well. What have we got here? Back to the silence of the flight deck. Yeah, interesting that we had the issue with the so in the Discord server the other day, Zato mentioned, I think it was this morning actually, oh no, it was Hergy1234, he mentioned about the new smoke effects for the engines being really detrimental to frames per second, and Hergy actually found that his frames per second dropped all the way to 3, which is bizarre. We'll see what happens. I have made Stefano aware though, and hopefully they catch that as a bit of a clip and then they can see that it's the same. Overcut, not really a checklist as such, but I do want to create a checklist for this aeroplane, for the MD-82, 83 and the 88, because A, it will help me with my flows. I'm still learning the aircraft, but B, I want to be able to basically offer you guys checklists for various aircraft, certainly for Osprey Airways. Clipper, it's not a dumb question as well, it's a great question. Is there a minimum number of hours we need to log not to get fired? No. So even if you fly once a month, once every 2 months, that's fine. The only thing you've got to bear in mind is the airline incurs a daily cost. So basically we need help by pilots remaining active. Zato, yeah, we can request it. So today the MD-88 wasn't actually in New Sky, so I've compiled a whole load of data for the aircraft, sent it across to New Sky and said, look, for today can we add it in, and they've got it sorted. They got it sorted overnight for us, which is really, really kind of Robson to do that. So thank you to you if you are watching. So we could probably do the same with the A300 Zato. And to be fair, if I'd have known that's what you wanted to fly today, we could have maybe got it sorted in advance. But it takes a little bit of work. Jack, yeah, so there is actually an accountant role which Fritz has got at the moment, so he can look at all the graphs, the flows of data and everything like that. There are fleet managers, scheduling managers, airport managers, and pilots. Adam, awesome. Be sure to use my Contrail web link for Manchester and all that sort of stuff. Look at that sunrise. And the contrails of the guy in front as well are fantastic. Ah, this was on one of my recent videos. I'm actually going to try and generate a link for you now. There you go. So, Adam, if you click that link, it'll take you to the Contrail web shop. Cythera, hello buddy. Very good, thank you for asking. I hope you're well. Good of you to join us today. Been gold frequent flyer with us for 21 months. It's incredibly charismatic, isn't it, as an aircraft, as Overcut is saying. The emissives and the textures and things are just really quite spectacular in certain light conditions. I mean, look at this. Hold on, there we go. Now we've got to get creative with the camera view. That is so cool. Look at the light bouncing off the circuit breaker panel behind as well. Three new pilots, David. Epic. Clipper says, where does everybody get their cabin recordings? So ours is from the Luke Air Tool, lukeairtool.net.
We'd like to extend a special thank you to each of you, and a welcome back to our SkyMile members and Million Milers. Your business and loyalty are greatly appreciated by the entire Delta family. For your safety, it's important to remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened anytime the
As always, the images today we take, the screenshots will go into Discord, but they'll also, I'll pick a few, put them onto things like Instagram, our Facebook and our Twitter pages. That's Osprey 71 Alpha Golf up ahead, that's David.
We've now reached an altitude where it's safe to use approved electronic devices. And a listing of these devices can be found in Sky Magazine in the seat pocket.
The thing with the aeroplane is you've got to manage it even more so than you would with, say, the 737 or anything else, even the CRJ. But this does have a couple of quality of life features, like an auto throttle that the CRJ doesn't have. That helps you kind of fly the aircraft. There is a lot to do with this. Zato, nice one. I'm assuming you've you followed the Performer on their wiki, right? In their Discord server.
A complete listing of available beverages, as well as of our fresh eats items, can be found in the menu.
The freighter, so cargo isn't an option yet in New Sky, but we are pushing actually quite actively to try and get them to add that for us. So that is one of the next features that they're looking to add. Little airport down there, look at that.
However, you can use your Delta SkyMiles American Express card to save 15% and earn double miles on all Delta purchases. For your enjoyment, each seat is equipped with your own personal entertainment system. On it, you can view a selection of complimentary as well as on-demand TV shows, movies, and music. You will find that this screen will work best with just a light tap of your fingertip. Feel free to use your own headsets. Otherwise, if you do need a headset, just let a flight attendant know they are yours complimentary for this and any future Delta flights.
You know what, I can't remember if I did. Can't remember if I turned on photogrammetry yesterday when it turned itself off again. I think it might have done. Maybe I didn't. I completely forgot. Oh wow. And then it's a kind of question of whether or not I dare to turn it on or not, if I have got it switched off. Apparently we are literally on top of David. Look, when the drone camera, we go for super realism with the drone camera. Yeah, look at that. There's definitely an issue with frames per second with the effects there of the new smoke that they've added in for the latest update. That is super bright, my goodness. Yeah, so that's something they need to fix. That will affect a lot of people, certainly with the lower end systems. So we were dropping frames crazy then. Steve, easy question actually. That's a great question to ask. I'm curious to know what you guys in the live chat think as well to that question. What is your most anticipated aircraft you're waiting to see released and to fly? So for me, that'd be the PMDG 777. But the Asobo ATR from Hans as well, as Doc has said, that's another one that's coming imminently actually, rather than kind of further down the future timeline of the sim. But certainly the Asobo ATR coming very soon. That's going to be exceptionally fun. Opens up a whole lot of creative routes for us to go and enjoy as well. I can't remember where the sun blinds are in this, the sun visors. I know they click on, don't they? Down here somewhere. Maybe it's not. Yeah, the A380 is going to be a long time away, I think. Doc saying for the near term, the Just Flight RJ coming soon. That's for him his near term most anticipated. In the medium term goes on to the A300-600 and then the PMDG 747-400 in the future too. So Thera saying the ATR, the A380 and the Fokker as well, hard to choose. There seems to be a really good collection coming. 100%, that's a great comment as well. There is a very vast collection of aircraft coming soon. That's going to be quite fun actually. The Avro Vulcan. It's going to be incredibly hard to fly. Not sure if it's the sort of product that you would fly regularly or not though. Or whether or not you would end up flying it a couple of times and then it just kind of gathering dust in the hangar. Yeah, so for those of you who fly with Osprey Airways on FS Hub, if you want you can begin to move over and begin to help the transfer basically across to New Sky, our new home for Osprey Airways. I will find the link to you for you as well, and I'll pop it in the live chat so you can basically sign up and transfer. There you go. Hopefully if I pin that, it should stay in a rather snazzy place in the chat for you guys. So descent forecast is going to be something we need to fill in the data for. Where's my new Sky app? Ori, hello to you. So I need some winds. Yeah, every now and again, Steve, isn't it? You'd be able to kind of dust it off, take the pitot covers off, and go for a little spin around, shake the earth around you. Position level, flight level 180, 350 at the moment, so we'll go for flight level 310, 269 at 108. Actually, it's flight level 1. Yeah, so 15,000 actually. 264 at 39. $264.39. 10,000 feet winds. 262 at 9. And then the destination weather at Phoenix is suggested to be 080 at 6. That'll do. Master caution, centre fuel pressure low. It is because the centre tanks are empty. So aft off. Centre forward off. Master caution's disappeared. That's the one overcut. Lazarus says there are still people taking off. Let's have a look at Volanta, shall we? We've not done that today, have we? So, run by Orbex if you're not sure what this is. It helps you log and track your flights and add really nice screenshots to the system for everyone else to see. Front of the pack, Swedish girl pilot Delta 1771. Over quarter at the moment. Then we've got Badger, American 919 and the MD-82. Oh, I thought you were flying the MD-83 today, Badger, not the 82. We've got 3. Don Carlito, Osprey 784. He's in the 787-10. Oh, that's cool. Look at that. Double contrail. And then behind him at IMB, we've got Osprey 784. Actually, that's also Don Carlito. David's Osprey 71 Alpha Golf. Vancouver to Phoenix Sky Harbor. That's pretty cool because you've actually timed that impeccably well to join us at the same time. He's in the little A320 Neo. Looks like 737-600, doesn't it? Yeah. OSBT. Could be the 737-700 actually, it's hard to tell. With the split scimitars, there's ourselves. Zato in the MD-88 on, I think, X-plane. Yes, there we go. Looking good. Zugoku Osprey 495. He's airborne as well. In the 737. Great to see that's such a... Oh no, it's not. It's the A330-900. Such variety today flying along. It's awesome. Vibes LXJ11. And we've got Fritz Osprey 804 Foxtrot. No screenshots yet. He's got his work cut out though. Trying to fly and sort everything out. I'm sure he's probably deep into the systems of New Sky as well, accepting all those pilot applications. Oh, that's awesome. That's a good picture. All the Osprey tails there as well. And he's in the Mad Dog MD-88. How are you finding that, Hazza? How are you getting on with it? It's a bit of a handful, isn't it? 737-900 ops for Ian, I think it is. Osprey Holidays. Massive queue of aircraft departing. Where were we? That was Ian, Osprey 2472, so he's there. Then we've got MPS behind in the 737-900 as well. But thousands of passengers are about to arrive at Phoenix. John, Osprey 27 Juliet Mike, airborne, still in the SID. Followed by AR Sim Pilot, Osprey 7 Papa Romeo. Loads of screenshots already, wow. And he's in the Fenix A320. Look at that queue, that's epic. Some fantastic screenshots. Who else have we got? So we've got then... Yeah, right, the 739. I've got to find the actual flight he's flying. SK Springer's still there. There it is, Nighthawk Osprey 1867. In the A330-900 again, the Neo. UKG Blueface there, Delta 766, and Gary, American 710 as well, with the 747-8 on the ground, headed the same way. This is a huge line of pilots, look at that, we're literally stretching across all of Oregon. Pretty cool. Oh, interesting, there's an A380. No screenshots. Boo. That would have been interesting. Mikhail. Oh yes, I can see you actually there. There you are. ASA 459. Bingo. Flying Alaska. That's the 100 years Boeing livery. Epic Gaming says he feels very heavy. 737-900 climbing to 350 at 1,000 foot per minute, flight level 280. My goodness. As it says, a handful is the best word to describe it. I haven't had a break yet. It's full on, isn't it? It's full on. Brit saying to Jack, I might have missed a little bit of the live chat here. Jack was asking, do you get efficiency data for pilots? Efficient flying is something I need to learn. Yes. It's kind of more so the costs, the expenses against the profit, the passengers flying along and all that sort of stuff. Justin was saying, is it hard to fly? So if you can fly the CRJ and you can fly the Boeing 737 and you can fly the Airbus A310 with all its panel switches up here, you can begin to kind of get your head around this a little bit. But it is a very weirdly laid out, poorly laid out alien aeroplane. So for example, your floodlights, swing lights, nav and strobe and your anti-collision lights are here, but then on the left hand side you've got your landing lights and your nose lights. If you want your if you want your logo light on, you have to go all the way up here and flick the switch for it there, which is weird. There's a whole lot of switches, dials and things that all work, they all do stuff that you have to kind of work out how the aeroplane operates, and it's very unique also than any aircraft we've flown in the sim so far, to be fair. But as Overcut is saying, it's an incredibly challenging aircraft to fly in the sim, although I think that comment's more for the Vulcan, but very much like this, very hard to fly. Pop that off as well. Things like the pneumatic crossfeed valves, I kept forgetting those when I first installed the aircraft, and I was trying to start it up for ages, but it's because I hadn't flicked them across, so it wasn't able to transfer the pneumatic pressure from the APU to the engines and all that sort of stuff. This is what I mean about the decal issues though. It's there are nasty decals here, and what is a 90 quid add-on plus then a 30 quid extension to get the MD-88, that's not acceptable. Because there are some incredibly blurry textures. Ah, yeah, there's the shades, which means there it is. I just want to slide it. Why can't I slide it? Am I doing something stupid here? No idea. Yeah, the simulation is very deep, very deep, and that's where they justify the cost of it. As Doc is saying, the function is more important than the decals. They do want to improve the decals over time once they get a new texture artist, because their old one stepped away, which is why they've got issues with the textures being quite blurry. Same with sounds. They want to fix the sounds and improve those. I'll have to keep refreshing it, Badger, because it says there's no screenshot yet. Ian's asking, do you have to fly on VATSIM when flying a new Sky flight? No, you can fly offline as well. John's had his first penalty then. It counts every second that you're late swapping to standard pressure, and it then penalises you accordingly. So if you identify it and rectify it quick, you get a very small penalty. Otherwise the penalty will grow over time. And then it all feeds into an overall score at the end, which takes into account whether you're push delayed, if you've departed on time, if you've kind of landed on time, if you've landed late, and all that sort of stuff, as well as fuel burn, passengers carried, any things you've got wrong during the flight as well. So strobes being switched off when you cross any runways or when you're on the runways, then you get penalised for that. The airline gets penalised for that as well. Sir Topper, welcome. Gold Edits as well, hello to you. Lots of weather firing in as well. You're supposed to just click and drag. It's like the click spots kind of disappeared somehow. So next way is Kyoto, sorry, Kyoto. When we cross that, I need to do a fuel check. So according to our OFP, wait, where is Kyoto? After IMB, but I can't find that on the flight plan. Kyoto, 7.4 tonnes. So we're passing that in a moment. We've got 7.8 tonnes of fuel on board. That's good. So we're slightly over our fuel required by fuel burn, which is nice. We calculated that slight delay on taxi, added that into our fuel levels. Afternoon blown up, but Steve's asking if we had any good encounters with the new realistic turbulence module. Not yet, no, to be fair. Yeah, nothing particularly significant just yet, but who knows, we might get some today. Where's the APU on the aircraft, Steve's asking? Just there. And there's like a hole in the tail here where it ingests. There's like the intake for it, and all the buttons for it are up here. So you've got your APU master there. It's off at the moment, but you would put it to start. You've got the APU RPM and the EGT for it there as well above, and then you've also got APU air, so whether it's off or on, and you can also pop APU into economy mode as well if you wish. Polsky was saying, what are the differences between the 82, the MD-88 and the MD-90? It's a little bit of both, yeah. Asking is it size engines or both. Primarily, the main real difference with the MD-82 against the MD-88 was the fact the MD-88 had the glass cockpits and everything else. MD-82 was typically more analog, but the the two packages in the sim offer the same flight deck effectively. So it's had the MD-82 has had the retrofit, which is a bit weird. One thing I have noticed today is the little clipboard here with the different speeds. It's also there as well. You've got the click spot for it there, which is nice. A little 46 knot tailwind, look, when we turn left. Very nice. F-Tan, so it's a little bit more performance heavy than compared to the PMDG. Better than the Phoenix though. However, there is an issue at the moment that they aren't really aware of, except for when I emailed them this morning, with the smoke effects and the contrails within the Mad Dog. They've updated them and tweaked them with the release of the MD-88 across both packages, including the MD-82. So if we go back now and look at the contrails, all of a sudden the frames will tank. Here we go. Look at that. All of a sudden becomes a bit of a slideshow. So it means that we have to be very careful about looking behind ourselves. Something that's definitely not quite right there. Somebody in the forums actually fixed it by removing a special effects or an FX file inside the package, but I don't want to fiddle around with the package itself, recompile it and risk breaking it entirely. So I've kind of just left it to it, but it's definitely an issue there. Mikhail saying the new runway at Phoenix, 08 or 7 right. Mikhail's going for 08. Dato, awesome. They're pretty quick, so they're probably going to get it done in the next couple of days. I need to find what gate we were supposed to park at. Foxtrot 8 apparently. Where is that? Phoenix. Ah, there it is, Foxtrot 8. So we'll go for 7 right then. Shorter taxi. But we just flick that across like so. So what we're expecting is the Bruiser 1R nav arrival into Phoenix in a little while. We're coming in via the tense transition up here. So we need to be at Panted, flight level 290, duty, although I kind of want to say dutty. we got to cross Dutty at flight level 240, flight level 290. And then we've got 25 miles to Maya at 270 knots. Between flight level 190 and flight level 250. Lots of terrain as well around us there. 22 miles later we reach Bruiser at 250 knots. We'll be on local pressure at that point and between 13 and 17,000 feet. Then we kind of split off. If we were flying to land on the runway on the opposite engine, the opposite runway, sorry, then we would be breaking off at Anti and following the eastbound part of the star, but we're not. We're flying to 08 and 07 right, the two runways that we're using at Phoenix this morning. So we're going to head out of Bruiser, 173 degrees to Bodwell, 9,000 to 12,000 at speed 250 knots. NC, reducing our speed to 230 knots and flying between 8 to 10,000 feet. Landing lights will be on. Past Deer Valley, and then football, or F-ball, 7,000 to 10,000, speed bringing down to 210 there, so we're going to have flaps and slats extended to get the aeroplane to fly slower than 230. It's not a very efficiently aerodynamic aircraft, this. Pigskin at 210 knots, 6,000 feet, passing then Glendale Municipal Airfield to the right hand side. Then we need to fly the transition to the runway. So from Pigskin we fly to Tullman, and we choose Jamie Fowl or Balti. It's going to be Balti because Balti is going to be the transition for 08 right. So Tullman, Balti at 4,000. From there, Tesla, Fargo, Cargo, Balti. There we go, there's Balti. So from there we'll be establishing straight onto the approach and the glide slope. Need to make sure the frequencies are tuned, 110.75. The course of 078 is set, and we might as well, if we've got chance, or if we've got a nav free, tune the VOR 1156, because that'll be useful for the go around. It's a bit of a weird cross section for the approach, but everything you can see here, Tesla through to Balti, delete, just ignore. We're going to be at Balti at about 4,000 feet, and then we need to step down to 3,000 feet quite quickly to join that glide slope. So actually I might change the nav data to be at Balti at 3,000 instead. It says at or above 4,000 there though, so I can't. They like to make it difficult, don't they? Balti's, that's 10 miles. Airport elevation is important as well. 1,135 feet, so if you're in the 737 or the MD-82, 83 or 88, then you need to set that pressurization panel as well for that landing elevation. And our minimums at 1,369 feet, or in for the Radout 253. In this rather clunky oil burner, that's what we'll be tuning today. So PFD DH 253. I do feel like I'm starting to finally learn the jet, which is good. Departure arrivals, ILS 07 right. We want the Bruiser 1 via tents. We don't want the Alice transition because that's going to extend us out far too far away. So we're just going to leave that blank. We're going to set Bruiser 1 tents, ILS 07 right, execute. We're going to have a look at it. So tents, panted, Dutty, Maya, Bruiser, Bodwill, NC, Football Pigskin, Tullman, Balti. I'm going to change that to 4,000 so it's more specific. And then it says vectors because we're then going to... Oh, hello. There's a double whammy there. Let's delete that one. Let's delete the vectors. Balti, Totti. There we go. That's looking a little bit better now. And then runway 07 right. Descent page is done. Fix. EXR. I'm going to go for 5 miles. Oh, it's not going to allow us, is it? I'm going to leave that like that actually, just to see what it does, because we couldn't work that out last time, could we? Even in the live chat, last time we flew the MD-82, couldn't work out how to use that properly. Steve says, do you manually have to calculate your top of descent, or does the aircraft do it automatically for you? So this thankfully does help you with a top of descent marker. We'll see it a little bit further into our flight today. And actually it's pretty bang on as well, so you can kind of follow that, and then you set the aircraft up for what they call drift down to 18,000 feet. So the aeroplane will fly 240 knots down to 18,000 feet effectively, and then it will start to bring the speed down furthermore. But you can, if you wish, override the speed using the MCP panel here. Otherwise it will just self-update using the data in the FMS. Hassa, really not looking forward to landing this, I won't lie. New Sky really adds an extra element of pressure. The biggest thing with New Sky is, if in doubt, go around. Even if you, say for example, flare too much and you land beyond the touchdown zone, the wheels touch down, as long as you apply the power and you go around, it will then recognise that as a safe move, and you won't be penalised for it. Just make sure that through descent, when you get your flaps out, trigger the GA mode active there in the thrust modulation system. Zato, so you were asking about how do you find the aircraft info.title thing. On the New Sky app, you've got the little N logo on the top left. Press Control and then click that, and it will give you a whole load of sim variables about the aircraft you're using and what it's monitoring, how it's monitoring it. And one of those is the aircraft title thing. One of the functions as well is flap, so you have to sit in the aircraft, get everything pressurized, hydraulics and everything all working, and then you extend each flap setting and you look in the New Sky tab to see what the figure relates to get the data to feed through to New Sky so they can add the new airframes so we can add them to the fleet. Normal users of New Sky though, guys, you don't have to worry about any of that. It's only if we're trying to physically add aircraft to our fleet that we've got to do a whole load of background work. What do you reckon? We all airborne yet? Let's find out. There's a whole cluster of pilots there. Where are we? Sheesh. So, over Nevada now. There's Molly at front, Delta 1771, and a big old stream of pilots stretching all the way to SeaTac actually still, where Gary's just got airborne. Connection lost. Good to see the sim struggling again. Who else has just had that? Rab's just had that same warning, and Cornelius. Yeah, they've got issues with their servers again, haven't they? Clipper says so much pressure with New Sky now. Absolutely. Ooh, we're actually showing a 10-minute delay, folks. Damo, hello. How's the new Mad Dog? It's pretty cool, actually, to be fair. The new engines, or the more powerful engines, are certainly noticeable. It will look particularly great in an Osprey livery. So, that's New Sky, for those of you who don't know what it is. Yeah, Streamlabs won't let me snap it neatly, but hey-ho. So this is our new virtual airline client. So you can see that we're an active airline. That's our average collated score with every single flight that has been operated so far with the airline. We are updating things as we go too. We've added a couple of tours that were in place when we were still using FS Hub, but the tours that are on there we naturally don't want to lose. So I'm bringing them all across. Eventually, those of you who have completed the marathon ones, like the Commonwealth Tour, huge 50-odd leg tour, you won't need to do it again, because we'll basically have the ability in the future at some point to toggle it on and reward those tours in lieu as we transfer everything across. Matthew, hello buddy, turning us into a Mad Dog pilot. I'm slowly getting better at it. I'm slowly learning it and getting more comfortable and confident with the aircraft. Here's our current fleet. So where it says name, we've just left it as the reg number for the paint scheme that we've got. And then you can see we've got a number of different A320neos, different aircraft at each base effectively. So you might find that at Manchester there are 5 A320s, 5 A320neos, and there might be 10 737s, a mix of 736, 7, 8 and 900s. Lots of 900s, which is good. And we've got some long haulers too. So 767-300 for those of you on X-Plane, 787-10. And there's the Mad Dogs as well, the MD-83, MD-88 and the MD-82, along with a few smaller ones. Twin Otter, Douglas DC-6, CRJs and all the rest. BA-146 is there as well, the Whisper Jet. It's only the 146-300 currently, sadly. And the Airbus A310. Operations wise, this is our current active map with showing you guys the operations of the airline. You can see recent flights that people have completed and some of the routes too. So we've got bases to Bergen, Oslo, Edinburgh, Shannon, Birmingham and quite a few other places, including lots of routes to wonderful Greece. There are two modes to this basically. There's a real mode and there is also a free flight. So we're using free flight today, which means we can fly any aircraft in the fleet on any route. But the real mode means that we have to actually operate the scheduled services, which are all of these. So specific flights with specific flight numbers that we're slowly building up over time, that super real mode feel. In essence, if you operate the Osprey 308 flight in a 737-900 from Heathrow to Athens, that aircraft is now in Athens. So then anybody has to then fly it back from Athens to Heathrow to return it back to base, so that that aircraft can then operate the, for example, service to Oslo, so on and so forth. So there's two modes, real and free flight. Free flight mode still attracts costs to the aircraft and the airline, so there are other things to bear in mind too. Oh, Ian. Yeah, in the New Sky app it says, do you want to start the flight? And then you have to basically, in the New Sky app, once you've started it, it activates a logger. I can't, for some reason it doesn't let me show you. Oh, it does now. Right, this is the New Sky app. This is the actual app as we're flying along. So, in flight you get your OFP. Cornelius, epic. Thank you, buddy. That's very generous. Gifted 10 channel memberships. Welcome to you guys. Hergy's back. Adam, Carl, Hergy, Ehawk, Cody 2, Jeff as well, Eddie, Justin, Cool, Mr. Squiggle, and Willem. Hello to you guys. You've got a channel membership for 30 days, courtesy of Cornelius. Make sure you head to our Discord server, those of you who have just had that gifted membership, and link your YouTube account to your Discord user settings in the Connections tab, and it will get you access into our Club Lounge. Right, so within here, you can see the position updates. It's basically working away in the background. It's monitoring altimeter change, light changes, spoiler changes, gear retraction. It monitors takeoff, off blocks, all that sort of stuff. Lots and lots of data for your flight being monitored in the background by New Sky. And in the end, it will overall give us a score. It's got a little night mode as well, which is quite nice. Say, for example, worst case scenario, we're flying a complex aircraft like the 737-800, and then all of a sudden we get an issue with I don't know, some kind of serious emergency like a rapid decompression, and we have to divert. What we can do is hit that declare emergency button, and it won't penalise us for it because emergencies happen. There's a lot to it, but what's nice is when you activate it, you get your OFP in here as well, so you can actually have a little look at all of your SimBrief related data, all in one really neat app. And then on the map, we can see all the aircraft on New Sky flying along at the moment, and this huge congested bundle of pilots here. That looks cool. We're all flying on New Sky between various airports. There's Phoenix down here. Now if we click on it, where the routes come into effect, you see this web. So if you're flying on free flight and you want to chase the demand, you have to find the airports that you want to fly to and see what direction the passengers want to travel in. For example, passenger demand coming out of Phoenix predominantly want to go northeasterly, but if we look at Seattle where we departed today, that's Renton Municipal, SeaTac, there we go. So predominantly they want to fly eastbound, so there probably aren't many passengers for us to take today actually, in our general direction. Because we're kind of flying southeasterly, and there are very few, the current demand of 1,196 passengers. And then I don't know actually, Fritz, you might know, is that reduced significantly because we have just departed with about 1,000 people? And also when we land, what we'll find is the Phoenix demand will surge because we've just dropped off 1,000 odd people in Phoenix. It's pretty cool. Automator, not sure actually how long it's going to take to get the new PC. Afternoon Mats, they did say that they're looking to get it delivered within the 15 working day window, and there's still, well basically that's going to be Friday coming. So I reckon at this rate it's going to be next week. Ah, fair enough, Fritz. Was it the same when we departed? Or before we departed? Because it may well be then that it will update once we complete the flights and we actually make it to Phoenix. 11075. And 078 for course. Oh my god. Christ almighty. How do I reset that, guys? I've just killed an engine, literally. Holy poop. Oh, bloody click spots. How do I fix that? Just push it back in, yeah, but it wouldn't push. I'm trying to push it now, but it won't push. Just a cool hello. Oh my god. Beats good. Try the pneumatic handles. Christ almighty. Open the cross bleeds. There's no reset button underneath. Oh, it's now reset. Right, stand by. Try and relight this thing. Yeah, they're both off, so let's... The problem is I don't know if I've actually used the extinguisher. Actually, I need to open both, don't I? Okay, here we go. Let's try. How's the speed doing? Speed's dropping. Have to keep an eye on this. Vertical speed mode. 30,000. I'm going to begin a bit of a descent here. Be great if I had an actual checklist. Right, yeah, thanks Matthew. My goodness. Fancy that being such an easy click spot to trigger. That's never happened before either. Of course it would happen today, eh? Speed low. Let's keep that rate of descent going. Keep calm and carry on acceptably. Interestingly, the APU's not wanting to start. Mini Phil Cooper, welcome. That's set, they're set. Fuels are all, yeah, fuel's on. Speeds come up again. Goodness sake. Right, stand by. We're in emergency mode now. Goodness sake. Half of these manuals don't actually help. So turn off the APU, turn off the packs, only open the left crossfeed valve. Got it. Then turn the ignition on and start the left engine. Without the APU, right? That didn't work. We've got the cabin repressurised anyway. Levelling off. That's not ideal. So cross bleeds are on. Left is on. We aren't going to be able to use the... Maybe there's a failure mechanism in here. Actually, hold on. We've got to make it there, that's the problem. Yeah, none of that is helpful. So, well, we got menu. Zato, yes, that's what I'm trying to reset at the moment though. Well, I reset it inadvertently because I was trying to get it to push back in again, but then it decided to flick itself. So none of this helps. There's no way to actually... Oh, actually, do I need to put the aux stuff here on? Stand by. Oh, for goodness sake. Altitude arm. Having a bloody mare with this. Absolutely night shadow. Engine change. That's going to be interesting, isn't it? Let's now log that. I've still got such a long way to go. Control E. I know, of all the days, it didn't happen yesterday, did it? Oh god. I mean, I can't really. There's such pointless manuals in here. What's in volume 1? Hold on. Emergency electrical fire protection. Controls fuel system. Abnormal emergency procedures, finally. Goodness me. In-flight shutdown. We want in-flight restart really, but yeah, I can't see anything. It says maybe I'll just do. Is it Control F? Isn't it? Cross bleed. Engine fail. In-flight shutdown. Auto thrust leader affected engine disengage or idle. That's damage. In-flight shutdown. Okay, so air conditioning supply for that needs to go off. Engine for 2 needs to go to high. It's already on high anyway. Hydraulic pumps to engine 1 need to go off. hydraulic transfer pumps both go to on, and aux, so aux and trans go on. That's good, we've got that on already. Generator, we've sorted that. APU power, let's try and restart the APU. Speed's 220, so we are a bit slow here still. That's a good point. We should idle the actual engine, shouldn't we? So auto thrust is off. I'm going to keep the engine 2 on Hoga really then. Although, well, okay, so let's try what Matthew suggested first. We'll just introduce fuel for a windmill start. I heard something sound like it was spooling up. Oh, it's our APU. Right, let's just try and do a proper in-flight restart then. Happy days. I think because we've pulled the extinguisher, we can't. Yeah, it's not really doing anything, is it? It's not having it. What other options do we have? Oh, stand by. Need to isolate the fuel first. Come on. No, having it. Auto start. In-flight engine restart, standby. So thrust lever idle, fuel control lever shut off, engine fire shut off handle fully in, related engine anti-ice switches on. So that's on. Related fuel tank pump switches both on, inlet fuel pressure low enunciator off. Yeah, we don't have that, that's fine, otherwise it'd be up here. All pressure indicator readout needs to be indicating. It is, it's indicating 17 psi. Engine ignition selector override. Fuel shut-off lever to on for a windmill start. Clock start. I mean, it says check in-flight relight envelope, but it doesn't tell us where that in-flight envelope is. And I'm trying to find it. because none of that's worked. Let's go for 22,000 feet. And I'm gonna squawk as we're sort of dealing with this. What else have we got here? Let's see if we can work this out, folks. Cool. It's got the APU on. That's fine, they're working. Right gen is fine, that's working. Rab's saying, for an engine start that's spun down below 10% N2 due to unknown issues or suspected icing, even with the engine to override and or ignition engine anti-ice on, yeah, I mean, we've kind of done that already, that's the thing. Pneumatic crossfeed valve is open. Okay, so crossbleed start, let's go for it. Nope. Oh, stand by. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. We might have a bit of relight. Come on, girl. You crazy mad dog, you. Fuel, go. Power. Yes. Matthew, legend. So it was literally just that extra cross-bleed valve there. Come on. We're not out of the woods yet, folks. Transfer across. Many power. Auto thrust active. Oh, arm VNAV. Make sure we get the cabin started with the pressurization, both engines 1 and 2, and clean up the mess. Yes, literally. Literally, and change your trousers. Max auto, APU's off, that's fine. Galley's still on anyway. Ignition systems are off, fuel pumps are all good, they're all set. Cabin is still repressurizing, but then we also need to go transfer off, aux off, and hydraulic pumps both to high. Whoa. We'll get back to cruise and then I'll go back to squawking 2000. I don't know what the... It's actually picked up that we've declared a Mayday as well on New Sky, which is interesting. Back in, as we say at work. My goodness, I need a drink. Nice work, Matthew. Thank you very much. Saved us again. Whew. Okay, they're all looking good. We're going to run through here just to be sure. Pop that off again. Cabin altitude still a warning with oxygen on. That's fine. No, Matthew, it's fine. Thank you very much for even going to that level of effort. That's incredible. They're all fine. That's all good. Left generators generating power, and yeah, the issue now is going to be fuel. Right main, my goodness, how do we transfer fuel across? We need to cross feed. How do we cross feed? Right, next menu. Minimum equipment list, operating limitations, normal procedures, techniques, checklists. There we go. Oh no, that's literally just one page. Why have they packaged it like this? Currently heading the manuals at the moment, trying to work out how to... Again, that's not even relevant to us. Oh, that. Crossfeed on, and then lowest tank is right. I'm watching these like a hawk. Do not cut out of me. And we should get that balance sorted out, hopefully, in the 160 miles. See if New Sky recognised the end of Mayday. Radio's changed. There we go. I feel like this is going to be an absolute whopper of a flight score. God, we've got a lot to do now. Yeah, so flick that back to 2000, because otherwise if a controller comes online and sees that we are flying and squawking 7700, it just scuppers everything else. So I'm resetting it for the purpose of any controllers that could come online at Phoenix or somewhere else, basically. Lazaros Montelli. There he is. Goodness knows how far back the pack I've fallen there. Probably really buggered sequencing up, hasn't it? Actually, LXJ11 isn't flying online, are they? Vibes. Hey, you know what? We learned something today. How to do an in-flight engine restart in the MD-88. Thanks to Matthew, of course, and you guys in the chat that were all helping as well. Jack, so it's off blocks, but it also logs takeoff time. Lazarus, what's your speed, buddy? What's your Mach number? Oh, blast away at 8.2 then, Lazaros. You'll be well clear of me then. Because I'm doing Mach 7.4. And I think I'd struggle to go much faster. Yeah, Jack, you get a pilot's report at the end. I'm going to be very late. What's my estimated now? He's actually recognised I've squawked now, so I might just reset to 7700 and leave it at that. But we've lost 10 minutes dealing with that, with the speed reduction and the descent. $2,000, Jack. That's cool. You can change the rate limit there. So what do we got? 1135. Go for that. Oh, look at that. That's epic. Let me show you New Sky, because the our virtual airline client now has updated, and it shows on the left hand side. Our last flight was the one on the right. Our current flight is shown squawking an emergency with also a 10-minute delay. So we've got that little emergency tab in red. And if we go to the logger, as we were mentioning earlier on, if we go down here, there we go, we scored 7700, declare Mayday, 1456.05. In relation to what Jack was asking about previous flights, you can see your old routes. So, review flight log from yesterday's flight, Yerevan to Dubai. This is the information you'll get. So, fuel burnt, passengers, cargo, expenses, revenue balance. You get an overall score at the end. You get a nice little log and data as well at the bottom. And then you also, a complete flight log, if you expand that, it shows you everything that it tracked throughout the journey. All of your conditional changes to the aircraft, gear levers, flaps, spoilers, speed, radios, the lot. All in one app. Jack saying 7700 is Mayday Squawk, is it? Yes, so there's 3. 75 taken alive is hijack. 7500. 76 radio sticks. Your radios are broken. 7600. 77 going to heaven. 7700, which is what we squawked because we were in dire critical help. And we're in dire danger, immediate danger. Steve was sorry Steve, yeah, you asked that earlier on when the chaos began. Can you start your own fictional virtual airline? Yes, you can. One thing you've got to bear in mind though, in the future it is very likely that New Sky will introduce a monthly fee for the virtual airline owners, by the sounds of it, reading its wiki and things like that, so you've got to bear in mind that as well. These poor passengers. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching that anyway. My goodness, it's much more enjoyable watching than actually doing when that sort of stuff goes wrong. But this is Fly Sim, and they have simulated the aircraft in a very highly complex, detailed way. So that's kind of half the issue there. You've got to know the aeroplane and all its little restart procedures and everything else. It gave us some work to do. There's Lazarus. I'll grab those screenshots, Lazarus, for you. Overcut says it's good to see the possible that it's possible to bring the Mad Dog back to life. Mikhail is on his way down in just a few seconds from now. Ooh, that's a weird glitch in the matrix. You guys see all the Bing photogrammetry switch then. Overcut says it's great job getting the engine restarted. I accidentally lost both engines for about an hour into a flight last week due to me forgetting the left and right fuel pump switches. My flight ended in a wreck. My goodness. Adam, flying Frankfurt to Heathrow with Osprey. Awesome. Which aircraft? How did you find setting up the flight on New Sky as well? There's a feature when you generate the flight on New Sky, you can actually make it generate your flight plan for you, which is really cool. Ian, he's on approach to Heathrow for his first New Sky flight as well. Epic. Breathe a sigh of relief now. Oh, Mike Jerry, epic. Sadly, that won't be the same for me. As Fritz has said, basically we've zeroed out the financials for this flight today because we've declared an emergency. But all of you guys flying along New Sky around us as well, all the pilots around us are still generating revenue, which is good. Landing in Phoenix, KPHX. Weather conditions. (120) at 6. Headwind of 4 knots, crosswind of 4 knots for runway 7 left. Rab, thank you. 11 degrees Celsius for the outside air temperature. The QNH equivalent 3002 on the altimeter. 1016. Estimated landing weights. Estimated, so 54.4 tons. We'll go 54. Quarter brake medium. That's better. So what do we want? Auto brake medium. Set that ready. They're off, they're both on high. Lazarus is there. Lazarus, are you landing 07 right, or are you landing 07 or 08? Just 7 right, okay. I've planned for 08, so yeah, I've planned for 07 right. To be fair, our spacing is fine then. Percent at tenths. Bring this in. Absolutely overcut. Thankfully we're on Unicom, so we just do position reports and we have to kind of space ourselves out quite nicely. VNav, nav, FMS speed, cruise, that's everything else is rectified now, which is good. So we are kind of back to where we were pre-emergency. The only thing we're doing is finishing off rectifying the... Oh, look at that, happy days. Finishing off repressurizing the cabin properly and waiting for this to equalize. So a couple of seconds now, to be fair, less than a minute I would imagine. We can open the other tanks back up. Oh well, not much else could happen that could be any worse than engine out issues. I would have thought we would have had a discharge light, as in like that red light there would have illuminated for the discharge of the extinguishant. Wait for this one to say 2550 and then I'll flick the pumps back on up here. There we go, 2550. Right, tanks on. Make sure we do select the right ones, otherwise we're going to end up cutting the both engines off. We'll have an in-flight flame out, cross feeds off. So both tanks are now feeding. They're all good, they're all set. No engine faults, that's what we want. Pressurization is almost back to where we were at the beginning, and we've got 60 miles to top of descent. You can, Cytherea, yes. When you say the X-Plane MD-80, is it the 82, 83 or 88? Because they're the three that we've got in the airline already. Oh, Dan, yes. You did send me a message about the United Milk Run, didn't you? I can't remember where it is. Was it in our Discord server? I've had a hectic few days. MD-88 Cytherea, yes, perfect. Yeah, so we've got the MD-88 added for our fleet in New Sky, so you can use either the one in X-Plane or the one in MSFS now. We go back into the cabin full of people wearing oxygen masks. Keep smashing the like button, folks, as well. Have to bring that altitude knob down in a moment as well. How are we doing? Top of descent. Pretty much at tense. People tuning in now will be like, oh, this flight's going so well. They have no idea the chaos that was taking place a couple of minutes ago. Mike Jack came back to chaos. Yeah, what exactly, Rab? What chaos? I need some new oxygen now, though. Yeah, we can do so simultaneous approaches at Phoenix. Fritz, 08 and 07 right are in use. Oh, Zato. Dear me. Yeah, so I was fiddling around with all this stuff here, and then I accidentally pulled the agent lever for the extinguishing. And from there, I was trying to push it back in again. It didn't let me push it in. Annoyingly, what it did instead is it twisted it and discharged one of the fire extinguishers. And then flame the engine out. Oh well, all good fun. VOR's, sorry, the nav is set to the ILS 11075. 11075 course 7878. We've got our minimum set down here as well, decision height of 253. On 228. Back on 2000, even though that's pointless now anyway. And we're going to bring ourselves down to aim for a continuous descent down to the glide slope, Balti 4000. There's our top of descent marker. Adam, oh no, that's not good. Flying into London though on approach, how come you're at 340 when you should have been at 8,000 feet? Yeah, Gate Foxtrot 8, that's the one, Doc. MPS Gaming, yeah, what happened? I saw a little message on Discord actually on my phone a moment ago saying that your FMC completely froze up. I'm assuming you changed the approach too many times, right? Because I know that does happen in a couple of aircraft. It just freezes up basically. Well, if that's the case, Adam, I would have. Who were you contacting? Was it London Control or was it someone else entirely? A lot of the SIDs, well, the stars into London Heathrow are quite specific, so I would just be aiming to descend anyway. Even without the controller telling me to do so, basically. That's a huge crosswind. 105 knot crosswind pushing the aeroplane at the moment. So the green line is our heading. That's where the nose is pointing, but the track is actually the magenta line. So our track is the little magenta diamond, which is 167 degrees. But our heading bug and the nose is pointing in a heading of 188 degrees. Yeah, always descend as planned.
Leaving flight level 370.
Okay, here we go. Let's head to Phoenix. We've got to get the Mad Dog down again. Top of descent.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our descent, we request that you return to your seat and make sure your seatbelt is securely fastened low and tight across your lap. If you've taken out any carry-on items, please make sure they are safely stowed underneath the seat in front of you or in the overhead bin.
Cool, so we're about a ton over at the moment. Monitor that as we go. So it's such a weird location to have a nav display because it's actually very much in the way. Leave that on cruise mode for a little while until I get flaps out, and we'll trigger the go around so that that's ready. $14.51. Okay, Phoenix. 3002 for the altimeter. So the METAR at Phoenix, winds 120 degrees at 6 knots, visibility 10 statute miles or greater, few clouds at 25,000 feet. Temperatures 11 degrees Celsius, dew point plus 1 degree Celsius, altimeter 3002. Or 1016. Had it in 888 for his first new sky flight. Stupid scent line at Manchester. I demand VAR. That's not bad. 8.88. I mean, my goodness, my rating is going to be a shocker today. Delayed, emergency, depressurization. Yeah, absolute mess. $100 knot crosswind still. The masks have dropped, yes, but I don't think in the cabin physically anything's dropped, which is good. They're all still eating their tea and scones. Jack, it's the transition altitude on the way up in the climb. You change to local. You change from local pressure to standard pressure at the transition altitude. The transition level tends to be about 1,000 feet above, but it depends on the pressure of the day. They tend to be in the 80s. Steve, you're more than welcome. No, saying thanks for all the videos you do of new aircraft added to the sim. It really helps me decide whether to buy the aircraft or not, and in most occasions I always do. Now I can now can I have a loan, please? Yeah, I mean, if you're flying in the States though, Jack, it's easy. The transition level and the transition altitude are always 18,000, which makes it simpler. Next week we're going to have to fly the MD-88 again, and I'm determined not to actually flame the engine out or have a depressurization. Hopefully in that time they will have fixed this weird frames per second issue when you look at the contrails behind. It's something that they've got wrong in the update. It's actually pretty bad. Oh yes, awesome, that'd be great. Damo hopefully will have the Osprey MD-88 livery then painted. Oh, look at that. Airfield down there, that is going to be... That's Prescott Regional Airport. KPRC. In the Prescott Valley of Arizona. It's quite nice. Another little airfield there as well, I think that is. Then further up here on Volantis, another little airfield too. Lots of little airfields dotted around. And then up in the distance, the vastness of Phoenix should start to appear. Brian, do I use FSU IPC 7? Yes, so I do. Obviously that uses the FS Hub landing rate monitor and a couple of other things as well to power that, but you need to make sure if you've got Sim Update 12 you have updated FSU IPC 7 as well, because otherwise you'll have significant frame issues, frame rate drops. Ian saying he's had sudden huge frame rate drops coming into the Unibuilds Heathrow. Not had that before, my goodness. You don't need to put the new line in the INI file though, Brian. That's a load of nonsense from what I understand. That was pre-update of FSU IPC 7. So before it was updated you had to then go in and change that file, but they then patched it, fixed it, so you don't have to do that. Having changed that, that may cause issues. I don't know. There's our little heading bug still. Bruiser's coming up in 20. Yeah, the pump thing, Brian. There we go for another descent. Been having this is very nice. Bit of turbulence here as well. You can kind of see the aeroplane bobbing about as we're overflying the mountains here. Going to change the tilt as well of the weather radar. I personally haven't edited anything, Brian. All I've done is I've updated FSU IPC 7 and I don't have any issues with choppy things. The thing that you've got to be wary of, sometimes videos will be created because it generates clickbait and money. And whilst it was a fix there in the previous version, you've got to remember as well that it's been updated by the developer now, so FSU IPC 7 has received an update since that video has come out. and therefore, if they've said that they fixed it, and you're looking at updating it now or fiddling with any files, I personally wouldn't. I'd just run the update. So I've got FSU IPC active. It's running at the moment in the background. It's not causing me any problems. Drag required. Speed brake. I personally try to update as little as possible. I manually tweak files as little as possible. I would just update when there are updates for fixes of things. Certain flight tracking apps, basically Aviation Blaze, use FSU IPC7 as well as a couple of other things too. Some people compare the controls and their switches and keybinds and things to FSU IPC7 as well. But it's not always required. $16,000. Bruiser. Still good. Any wing flex? Yeah, the wing flex on this is usually pretty good actually. You can see it. You can kind of see it bobbing around there. Ian, no, it's SimConnect I think it uses. There's the big highway running in, and there is the huge city of Phoenix ahead of us. A huge landscape there that we're flying towards. So I think these have all been retired now, I believe. Phoenix traffic, Delta 1470 and MD-88 inbound for the Bruiser 1 arrival ILS 07 right, currently 12,000 feet, altimeter 3002, passing Bowell for reports near the fields. Phoenix traffic. Chris, hello. Majestic still being quiet over the development of the Q400. Wish they'd stop flashing their knickers and get on with it. It's my most anticipated aircraft for 2023 alongside the MDG 777. I think ultimately Majestic, I'm not sure if they're even going to end up releasing it. I'm just not confident that they are working on it still, unless there's been another update recently. Right, New Sky is basically the virtual airline client that we are moving Osprey Airways to, and it's super neat. There it is. So there's our operational flight plan for today. It's tracking all of the different variables in the aircraft as we fly the airplane start to finish. and also we're looking at Osprey Airways here. So there are awards, tours, loads of aircraft in the fleet that all have different loads. So some of them have got business and first, and some are pure economy. And then you can see the operations of aircraft as well. There's lots and lots to get involved at with Osprey on this new Sky. There's two modes: a real mode, which is operating accurately flown schedule services. If an aircraft flies from A to B, then it has to be brought back afterwards as well. And then there's free flight mode, which is what we're using today, but that still attracts an economy version, so this flight still costs the airline money and fuel, maintenance, the use of the airport ground service equipment, all that sort of thing. We'll leave those off. They're still on. They're all good. That's fine. Don't need the logo lights. The aircraft is depressurizing. We've got that set. Actually, what is it? 1016 landing barometer. And the landing elevation is set to 1,200 or so feet.
Delta 1701, we're an MD-88 inbound Phoenix, Bruiser 1 arrival inbound, currently 14,000 feet,
Phoenix traffic, Osprey 24 Foxtrot, inbound Bogle via Bruiser 1, RNAV arrival for runway 08. Phoenix traffic.
Where are we? That's Balti there.
Phoenix traffic, Osprey 7853, short final 079.
Start to bring flaps out now early. We've got a lot of phases to go through. Go around mode as well for the power. Locks are now active as well. So we're picking up the ILS. We're going to go to vertical speed mode and active on heading. Bring the range ring in. Here we go. Almost there. What an eventful flight this has been, eh? Slowly extending the flaps as we near the airfield. What has it got here? $15, 100. So we're just going to amend these calculations. 136.
3059er established on the ILS runway 08. 9.5 miles handle.
41.
Will maintain 180 knots until 6 Phoenix traffic.
So extending the flaps slowly. We're almost at time for the ILS now. 15 track miles, I think. Phoenix traffic, Delta 1470 is inbound Tallman, 5,000 feet for 4,000 for the ILS. 07 right, we'll report establishing Phoenix traffic.
Phoenix traffic, Osprey 7853, vacated via Golf 6, taxiing to the gate via Golf 6, Foxtrot 9, cross 07 left.
200.
Echo 9, Echo, Tango, Delta to the gate.
Phoenix traffic, Osprey 495, heading final for 08.
Speed 180.
Phoenix traffic, Osprey.
There's the airfields. We've got a wonderful view of the city as well to contend with.
Continuing taxi to the gate.
Traffic.
Where? Got him. Fine. He's on 08. Seven, eight.
Phoenix traffic, Southwest 30 to 15 under short panel runway 8, Phoenix.
141. One away. There's the airfields. How quiet the aircraft is. Super silent. So go around mode is active. We are
Traffic.
5 or so miles to touchdown. We want block mode. Block capture. Glide slopes ready. Phoenix traffic Delta 1470 is established 07 right, 8 miles. Continuing our flap extension, and we're going to go gear down to flap 28.
30, 15 under, make it runway 8. Taxi gate
160 till 4 DME.
Phoenix traffic, Osprey 495, 6 mile final for runway 8.
Look at that. Gears down 3 green, flaps set 28 lands. We now need to go down here and arm the medium auto brake. And we've now got the spoiler auto armed. Glide slope. Here we go. .141. Oh my god. Frames per second with the rear view in this is shocking. Let's try and get round and out the way of the rear view of this to get our frames back. It's a serious bug that they seem to have neglected in the development here. There's the CBD, the Central Business District. Auto go around. My controls, if we're set up for it, we are set for heading.
Final for runway 08. 13 miles out. Phoenix traffic.
78. Control visualizer. Autopilot off. My controls. The aircraft actually retards the throttle for us, I believe, but I'm not going to trust it. I'm going to hand fly the throttle myself.
Hey, traffic Delta 1701, heading final runway 07 right, yeah.
50, 40, 30, 20,
10. Oh. That wasn't that great, to be honest. Touchdown was fine. 122 foot per minute, 1.17, but I was a little bit shy of the centre line, so not particularly accurate. But all the main, absolutely fine.
From 5 vacated, runway 8.
Phoenix traffic, Osprey 804 Foxtrot, on a 8-mile final, fully established on runway 08.
Come on. A little bit of power from the engines. We're going to vacate here, which I was a little bit slow vacating actually there. For some reason, it seemed to be sticky. Phoenix traffic Delta 1470 is vacated 07 right. Crossing runway 07 left. Welcome to Phoenix, folks. So what do we want? We want Foxtrot 8, don't we?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Please remain in your seat with your seatbelt fastened until the aircraft has been parked to the gate and the captain turns off the fasten seatbelt sign. This will be your only indication that it's safe to stand and gather your personal belongings. I'll cease caution if you open the overhead bins, as items do have a tendency to shift during flight. For those of you wishing to use your cell phones, it is now safe for you to do so. As a reminder, your laptop computers must remain stowed until we're parked at the gate.
It has
certainly been our pleasure bringing you today. Looks like you have an absolutely gorgeous day ahead of you.
GSX.
We certainly hope when your future plans call.
Foxtrot.
Have a great time here.
8. Bingo. Itesha, no, it's just a poorly optimized scenery, I think. But the frames on final approach were there because not because of any systems, but because of an issue that is within the aircraft add-on that a number of people are reporting. So if you look rearwards on the aeroplane at any point, currently with its package that it's in its current form, currently it actually doesn't. It tanks your frames to about 3. But there's nothing we can do about that. That's down to them to fix, sadly. Parking gates, where are we? Foxtrot 8, so... Delta 9. Past Delta 8, and then it's the second one on the right-hand side. Oh, come on. Power. Got to put the transfer pumps on. Whoops.
Phoenix traffic, Osprey 04 Foxtrot, vacated runway.
Ooh, there's a Citan. Fly UK's new American part of the airline.
Phoenix traffic, Osprey 2472 is inbound to Tillman, overhead Tillman, expecting ILS for runway 07 right. We'll report when established on the localizer.
Slats away. Probably is, to be honest, isn't it, Brian? That poor engine. We'll call maintenance. So yeah, super quiet inside. Outside, a whole lot of noise.
Delta 1701 crossing to the left of Foxtrot 8.
But inside, not too much. Foxtrot 8's coming up, so we'll pop the nose lights off. We'll keep those on, that's all fine. They're good. Turning in. Let's park. Crikey, Dan, that's insane.
Phoenix traffic, Osprey 2472 is established on a local.
That didn't take long, did it, David?
On the glide slope for runway 07
That's
right,
epic.
traffic.
Tell you what though, after today's flight, I think the passengers will be proactively avoiding us. You just told me left, now you're telling me right. Come on, power. Just slow to respond. There we go. Here we go. Car brakes on, that's all set, they're all fine, and 1, 2.
Position Charlie 17.
That's transferred across, they're all good, that's fine. APU air is on. Supply is on those as well, that's good. We'll leave that on for now. And then the anti-collision lights can go off. A little pop-up at the top, do you wish to close the flight? Yes. So let's see what score we got. Probably absolutely horrendous. So emergency landing. Emergency declared. Off centerline landing. So actually we didn't get even a rating for that. We got a great touchdown though, marked on, which is cool. We zoom in, look at that, that's cool. There was our touchdown, right there. Actually that was right on the centre line, at 1.17 G, 122 foot per minute. Spoilers to 100% activated there, that it picked up, so that was the nose wheel coming down, the spoilers, weight on wheels and activating. And then here, spoilers began to retract as we vacated. Flap changes, spoilers disarming, lights off. That's epic, look at that. That is so much information. Yeah, that was the in-flight emergency we had here. A huge kind of issue with speed, but also then that dip there is our altitude. We began to kind of try and manage our speed with altitude there, but look at all that data. Spoilers armed, flap settings gear down as well. And unfortunately, that would have been a really good score, but because it was an emergency, it's wiped out all of our expenses, revenue and balance. So we didn't earn a penny for it, and we didn't even get a rating, which is rather sad. So it didn't even count as my last flight. Look at that, it literally just shows as an emergency. Gutted. No score. But the beauty is, we had the emergency declared, which meant that we were able to
Phoenix traffic, Osprey 2472 has exited runway 07 right.
We were able to
runway
deal with
07
the
left.
emergency without worrying about the score being wiped out, because it actually just let us get on with what we had going on, you know, depressurization and everything else. But otherwise, a great landing, to be fair. Phoenix filling up. We've got some big heavies Ospreys. That's going to help offset the airline's emergency flight today. Look at that. So actually, all of the frame rate issues were linked to the aircraft. Oh, look at that. Phoenix. Got some big KCs. This is the AMSIM and beautiful model of the world scenery, by the way, payware. Just when you get chance, Jack, after landing, usually once you've vacated, you clean the aircraft up, basically. So, usually around there. My God, look at this. This is a new scenery. Phoenix is huge. I've never been to Phoenix before. Yeah, Fritz, it's not a bad idea actually, recovering from it, and then, but then I suppose we need to understand how that would negatively affect us too. What the heck? GSX. Very weird. Let's watch some touchdowns. What we'll have a look at as well is the airline tab to have a look at everyone else's flights that have joined us so far for this flight to Phoenix as well. Don't ask me about that place, I can't stand it, Matthew says. But now I'm curious.
Phoenix traffic, Osprey 27 Juliet Mike, 4 miles.
Oh, fair enough.
Runway 07 right. Phoenix traffic.
That's the other thing New Sky looks for, as Rams mentioned, taxi speed. Effectively, if you taxi off a high-speed exit beyond 50 knots, you get penalised. If you taxi off a 90-degree exit like this one beyond, is it 20 knots, you get penalised. If you exceed normal taxi speeds, like kind of speed limits, then again that causes a penalty for the airline or for your particular flight as well. So even in free flight, there are elements of real mode active, like the way that it scores and rates each flight, for you to try and be the best pilot you can be every time you fly. We'll watch this arrival, and then we will have a quick check on Volanta to see who else is inbound before we check out New Sky and some of the flights that some of the guys have had already so far. Oh, he's looking low. He's looking to the side as well. He's recovered it. Oh, look at that. He was just teasing me, making me worry about the score then. That looked great, great little recovery at the end. And interestingly, on touchdown, it assesses everything. It's assessing... ooh, look. That's in the scenery. That's cool. It's assessing your wings, tail strikes, whether your wings are level and everything else. That is cool. Look at that. Look at it go. Not now, GSX. We're watching a tram. That goes right off into the distance.
Phoenix traffic southwest 2647, taxi to runway
there's another one.
7 left via Delta, Delta 9 and Echo.
There's one of the guys landing on 08. Check out the city in the background. Oh, that looked so good, didn't it? Great job. Well, that was a little Poseidon then, but it's not. Right, yeah, let's have a look at the new sky screens and explore this app a little bit more. So these are the latest flights that have already landed. So we could start with Zugu Air there, the A330-900. Oops. The where's it gone? A330-900 there. So he got a score of 9.9, which is amazing, and a profit of $14,175 for the airline. If we then click onto his flight tab, I'm not sure how much data you guys will be able to see of this. This is obviously because I'm the airline owner, so to speak. We've got departure and arrival times, 320 passengers carried. And we can zoom in on the map, have a look at some of his data here as well. Look at this. So we can see where he's extending his flaps. So off blocks, lights on, flaps extended, APU switched off, landing lights and strobe lights switched on. Caught you out there. Altimeter's been updated last minute there. Naughty. And then take off. Gear up. Taxi lights off. Caught you out there as well. What aircraft? Oh, he's in the A330 to be fair. So he might do some random stuff. Flap changes. Landing lights off at 10,000. And then if we zoom all the way down to Phoenix, yeah, busted. Literally, you can't hide from this app. It's so good. Flaps 1, 2, 3, and then full. Taxi lights on, landing lights on, gear down. Well, that's almost a late configuration there. That would have been a penalty. Touchdown. That's nice. Look at that. 223 foot per minute, 1.14 G. Oh, ever so slightly left of the centre line though. Spoilers extended. Brakes, brakes, brakes. And then he's vacated at Bravo 9. Flaps to 80%, I think it says there. And then external power on, so it's kind of skipped a little bit of tracking there, but that might just be the way the aeroplane logs. Look at all that data for just one flight. They only got, for that off-centre line landing, only a little hit of 0.1 on the score, which is amazing. How do we go back? There we are. Mine, we've seen mine, that's shocking. Badges there as well, profit of 1,797, probably because it was in the Mad Dog, it burnt so much fuel. Yeah, there we go. Fuel used 7,000 kilos, expenses of 19,455. That was incredible. No strobes for most of the flight when required. No nav for 352 seconds when required. So the second you put aircraft power on, the second you generate power to the aircraft, external power, APU, battery, even just battery on, you have to have the nav lights on. If you cross a runway or you enter any active runway over the stop line, the hold point, then you need to have strobes on. But otherwise, 8.19, a fantastic score again. We look at some others. Hazza, MD-88. For the first flight in the MD-88, got a 10 for the score. My God. Generated a profit of 2,599. Let's have a look at this perfect score then. So, off blocks, lights and flaps. More lights. Spoilers armed. Flaps set, landing lights on, and then takeoff. Gear up for the positive rate. And then flap retraction begins. Lots of phases of flaps for this Mad Dog. Yeah, Badger busted. No one can hide. Spoilers. That's interesting. Is that an accidental activation of spoiler there? Landing lights and spoilers turned off. Standard pressure activated. We zoom all the way down then on the flight plan route to Phoenix. We can see a number of events here. So spoiler extension, we had to do the same. Local pressure. spoilers armed, flaps extension there, turning in to establish, flaps to 100, gear down and locked, and then the ILS approach for the touchdown. Bang on the touchdown zone, on the centre line, 1.4 G, 361 feet per minute. That's epic. Look at all the data you get on this, it's just insane. And I love how you got that slight satellite bleed through as well. Brits, 9.91, he's loads of profit there as well. My goodness. Ian, you'll be fine. I'm just having a look. We've found some new features here today, basically. That's great. So, one of the new things that we would probably be able to check now is the fact that we have changed some, well, we've moved passengers around, but there's an aircraft on final here that we want to spot first, because we've got loads flying along still. Does anyone know how many are airborne? Adam, yeah, next week we're off to Chios. These are one of those ultra high bypass ratio engines. Oh, there we go. We've got an engine now. Another Osprey A330-900 inbound for the 10 on 07 left this time. Over the touchdown zone. Touchdown. Just in the touchdown zone. That was the last point of the touchdown zone right there. Right, where are we? Still got a few left to come in. Gary is Southwest flying in as well. And Delta Beakman coming in from LAX. So I'm not sure if they're on VATSIM or not though. Where were we? We were on... There we go, New Sky. So we've just flown a whole load of passengers out of Seattle, which has changed colour. And we're down here somewhere, aren't we? There we go, Phoenix. Lovely stuff. Gotcha. So if we now click Phoenix, that hasn't changed still, has it? These are all the routes. Osprey, 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 Osprey. Loads of them, my goodness. And in fact, most of us have operated full flights, which is mega. And there's a significant demand, 1,625 passengers that now want to go back in the same direction that we've just come from. So 1,625 punters that want to fly back towards Seattle in the direction of... If we were to look towards JFK, there are 4,276 passengers that want to fly towards Seattle. But on the airport tab, you actually can have a look here and go flights into Phoenix. These are all of the pilots that have flown in and all of the scores, including... Oh my god, Ian. Your $35,800 loss, but that's a cancelled flight because it was a crash to desktop issue, wasn't it? I think something like that. So it's automatically deleted itself effectively, but it's still there. Weirdly enough, it still shows, but it's just a cancelled service instead. Or was it a cancelled flight? SimConnect, Cythera. Oh. So there we go. You actually had a massive loss for the airline because you didn't abandon the flight. So you had to cancel the flight because you hadn't actually departed. You have to click cancel on it. So you have to go in and cancel the flight booking. You have to delete the flight before the 60 minutes elapses. Otherwise, the airline gets that significant time penalty. But yeah, we're learning the app, we're learning the system. And each one of us is basically finding out a new feature. Like we found out how the emergency feature works today on our flight because of how the flight logs and what our resulting flight report looks like as well. It's very interesting. It offers a whole new dynamic to our virtual airline as well. Yeah, we're going to dock it out your wages, Ian. Jakob, Mini Phil, Manchester Spotter as well, Sir Topper, Ingo, welcome aboard. Thanks for subscribing to the channel, guys. We need to work out how many more we've got inbound. I think just Gary, American 710. I may be wrong. No, actually, I can't see him on there. Is that all of us then, folks? That tram goes all the way off around the corner to, Matthew was saying, the rental centre, which must be that there, because the tram stops. The modelling of it stops. There's a little terminal area there. Phoenix SkyTrain. We can kind of race him in. All in, no worries. Depot's still a bit far away. That's fine, buddy. Look at that. We've taken over Phoenix. Good to see a Citan there as well. A couple of guys over on the far side in the Osprey Holidays Boeing 737s. One at 800 and one's a 900 by the looks of it. And we're parked up in the Mad Dog there on stand Foxtrot 8. The MD-88, really good fun actually. We had a couple of issues in flight, but there is a glaring issue looking backwards with frame loss, rapid frame loss actually, a significant frame loss at that hopefully they will fix in a future update. AmSim's Phoenix is looking pretty nice though. That's the payware that we're using today, surrounded by wonderful scenery as well. And the Foxtrot concourse is looking pretty busy. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's live stream anyway. If you do want to get your hands on the MD-88, then what you want to do is make sure that you, well, firstly you need the Mad Dog MD-82, which is the expensive one effectively. That's the £90 add-on, sadly. From there you can download and install / purchase the MD-83, MD-88 expansion that's now available. That is what is linked in the description down below. Haven't quite planned a flight for Monday, so do stay tuned for that. I think it might be the Transavia ops from Rotterdam to Edinburgh and back, but it's up for discussion and debate. For those of you in the members lounge on Discord, our bronze, silver, gold frequent flyers, you can help us choose the route for Monday. It could even be Chios involved somehow, somewhere there as well. That could be quite interesting. Thank you everybody for tuning in, pressing the like button as well. Hope you guys have had a great trip today. The engine failure still really throwing me off here. Cornelius as well, generously donating 10 new channel members for the month. So you guys, there's 10 of you that get to experience channel membership for 30 days. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the weekend. I'm going to leave you with some scenes over Phoenix, drone / helicam. Check out New Sky as well, newsky.app. Transfer your account from FS Hub to New Sky for Osprey Airways and immerse yourself that little bit more. In the meantime, as always, thank you very much for watching. Thanks for flying along. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and I'll see you Monday, same time, 1300 UTC, for some more Microsoft Flight Simulator, VATSIM, and Osprey Ops. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.